In recent years, Poland has steadily reinforced its troop presence on the Belarusian border, responding to what it sees as the growing threat of Belarusian hybrid warfare. This week, however, tensions skyrocketed. On Monday, Poland had to completely close its border with Belarus in response to a planned military drill. Then, on Wednesday, Polish airspace was breached by a large number of Russian drones flying in from Belarus, an unprecedented violation of Polish sovereignty that caused the Polish government to invoke NATO's Article 4. So in this video, we'll explain why tensions along the Poland-Belarus border have been rising for a while now, and what these latest escalations could mean for Poland and the wider region. If you're interested in the political alliances and groupings that shape our world, then you might enjoy our poster, Every Alliance Explained. It shows, in slightly confusing detail, all of the world's major alliances and how different countries link together. Check out the poster as well as the video which explains it by clicking the link in the description. Let's start with some context. In recent years, Alexander Lukashenko's regime in Belarus has engaged in a form of hybrid warfare against Poland, and by extension with the EU and the wider West. This strategy emerged largely in retaliation to EU sanctions imposed on Lukashenko's government after the 2020 presidential elections. In that vote, widely regarded as rigged and not recognized by the West, Lukashenko, who's ruled Belarus unchallenged since 1994, claimed a landslide victory. The aftermath was marked by mass protests, the detention of some 30,000 people, and the flight of tens of thousands of Belarusians abroad. Belarus was subsequently hit by sanctions, which escalated after the arrest of a dissident journalist on board a Ryanair flight that was forced to land in Minsk. Anyway, since the summer of 2021, Poland has accused Lukashenko of deliberately orchestrating a migration crisis by inviting migrants and refugees, primarily from the Middle East and Africa, to Belarus under false promises of easy entry into the EU. Belarus is said to have streamlined visa rules, offered organised travel packages, and increased flights via its state airline, Belavia. For example, Flight Radar 24 tracked 27 flights from Beirut to Minsk between August and November 2021, compared to just 5 during all of 2020. The effort was widely seen as an attempt to blackmail the EU into easing sanctions, which didn't work. Instead, it resulted in hundreds of migrants stranded in harsh, often inhumane conditions along the Polish border. Poland responded by declaring a state of emergency, building a wall along the border, and deploying around 12,000 troops, triggering violent clashes and a deepening standoff. As well as Lukashenko, the Polish Prime Minister at the time also pointed his finger at Russian President Vladimir Putin for, quote, sponsoring Belarus and pulling a similar trick along the Russian-Finland border. After Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, when Belarus acted as a launch pad for Russian troops, tensions between Belarus and Poland escalated even further. The number of attempted migrant border crossings increased, reaching around 16,000 in 2022 and over 22,000 crossings in 2023. Meanwhile, Belarus also moved to clamp down on the country's ethnic Polish minority, including imprisoning some of its leaders on trumped-up charges. In summer 2023, the Russian mercenary group Wagner relocated to Belarus, under a deal Lukashenko reportedly brokered between Putin and Wagner leader Yevgeny Prigozhin after his failed mutiny. This sparked some anxiety in Poland that Wagner fighters in Belarus could enter Poland posing as migrants, or that they could pose as Belarusian border guards and help more illegal migrants to cross. As such, even more troops were deployed, but this didn't go down too well with Putin, who claimed that Poland's new deployment was a provocation and warned that aggression against Belarus will mean aggression against the Russian Federation. A few days later, Poland rushed yet more troops to its eastern border after accusing Belarus of violating its airspace with military helicopters around the border village of Białowieża. The Belarusian military denied any such violation, but locals reported seeing helicopters flying low overhead. Earlier the same day, Lukashenko claimed that Poland should, quote, say thank you to Belarus for housing and feeding Wagner, because otherwise, quote, they would have seeped through and smashed up Rzeszów and Warsaw. You get the idea. Tensions along the Poland-Belarus border have been rising for a couple of years now. However, in recent months, Belarus's campaign of hybrid warfare has intensified dramatically. From June to August 2025, the Polish Border Service recorded nearly 13,800 attempted crossings by unauthorized migrants compared to just 7,500 in the same period of the previous year, implying year-on-year growth of 83%. Authorities have also reported an increase in the number of arson attacks and other forms of sabotage, including espionage. There was yet another flare-up last week, when Belarus arrested a Polish monk, accusing him of attempting to gather information on upcoming military exercises on behalf of Warsaw. He and the Polish government have called the claims absurd and accused Belarus of staging the incident as further provocation. Then, on Monday, Poland announced it would close its border with Belarus, just a day before joint Russian-Belarusian military drills were set to begin near Poland and Lithuania, the first such exercises since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022. Belarusian officials insisted the drills would be scaled down, with around 13,000 personnel expected to take part, compared to 200,000 involved in 2021, and said that most of the exercises would be held deeper inside Belarus as a gesture of de-escalation. Still, some maneuvers near the Belarusian village of Gosha and in Russia's Kaliningrad exclave at Dobrovolsk will take place only a few dozen kilometers from Poland's borders, and senior Ukrainian officials have warned that Russia could use the exercises as cover to prepare another attack from Belarus. Another fear is that a key target of the drills could be the Suwalki Gap, a 70-kilometer choke point connecting Russia's Kaliningrad Oblast with Belarus that runs along the Lithuania-Poland border. Then, early on Wednesday morning, the crisis escalated sharply. Following Moscow's largest aerial attack on Ukraine since the war began, a large number of Russian drones flying through Belarus were shot down over Polish airspace, while Dutch and Italian fighter jets were scrambled to assist in intercepting. Once the threat was neutralized, Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk announced that a military operation was underway, highlighting 3 eastern regions of Poland as the regions most at risk. Warsaw Chopin Airport was temporarily closed, and Poland's air defences were placed on high alert. Tusk also invoked Article 4 of the NATO treaty, declaring that Poland is in its most dangerous situation since World War II. Unlike the more widely known Article 5, which mandates collective defence in the event of an armed attack, Article 4 allows any NATO member to formally raise a security concern for discussion with other members. In many ways, this marks a major escalation. It's the first time that NATO forces have directly engaged Russian military assets. NATO will come under pressure to come up with a strong, coordinated response, but this obviously comes with escalatory risks. Any further build-up of Polish troops on the border will likely irritate Putin, but any attempt to de-escalate without really doing anything would likely embolden the Kremlin to maintain or even intensify its pressure against Poland, NATO's eastern flank, and beyond.
It's no secret that problem solving is always found at the heart of politics, whether that's through making important decisions or just understanding how the world works. Here at TLDR, we want to stay on top of our problem solving too, so that's why we use Brilliant. Brilliant is an incredibly comprehensive online learning platform that helps you become a better thinker and problem solver, designed specifically to teach you everything from maths, data analysis, programming, and AI from the ground up. You don't need a fancy degree or to have dedicated hundreds of hours to studying, as Brilliant gets you stuck in at the perfect level, allowing you to first start with mastering the foundations, then helps you level up to increasingly challenging problems. Take their fantastic data courses, for example. Whether you're starting fresh or continuing your learning journey, Brilliant offers everything from basics, like data visualizations, to advanced topics like algorithms and regression models. Using real-world data from Airbnb, Spotify, Starbucks, and more, you'll learn to see trends, parse and visualize massive datasets, and make better informed decisions. To start tackling those problems and try Brilliant for free, visit brilliant.org/TLDR, scan the QR code on screen, or you can click the link in the description. By doing so, you'll also get 20% off an annual premium subscription, and they'll know that you came from us, which really helps us out.